It was February 1948, near the same spot where MH370 vanished from radar in 2014. The Strait of Malacca, a narrow sea passage between Malaysia and Indonesia, where thousands of ships travel every single day. This waterway has been a critical trade route for centuries, connecting the Indian Ocean to the South China Sea. That day, clear skies, calm sea, peaceful winds. Nothing suggested anything unusual was about to happen. Several American and British ships were sailing the same route. Everything was completely normal, until multiple ships suddenly picked up a strange signal. Welcome back. The signal was in Morse code. Old school? Yes, but far more reliable than voice transmission. Normal voice radio depends on distance, atmospheric conditions like fog, dust, and humidity, and direct line of sight between sender and receiver. When obstacles interfere, audio messages fade out or arrive heavily distorted at the other end. Morse code works differently. It uses a precise combination of dots and dashes, which can be decoded into complete sentences at the receiving end. Its greatest strength, it can travel thousands of kilometers, cutting through atmospheric interference that would destroy a voice signal. This is why ships and military operators relied on it for decades. The Morse code received by ships in the strait that day opened with a pattern, 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots, repeated twice. Anyone trained in Morse code recognized it instantly. Decoded, SOS, SOS. The full message translated to SOS, SOS from SS Ourang Medan. All ships with shortwave wireless, please contact doctor immediately. That was the first message received. Almost immediately, without any pause, a second message arrived. Its translation: second officer, presumably dead. Other crew members also dead. Do not send medical advice. SOS, urgent help needed immediately. After the second transmission, Ourang Medan sent its coordinates, then one final message, possibly incomplete, possibly cut short. It contained only 2 words, I die. And then, complete silence. Radio operators on nearby ships responded immediately. No reply came back. The silence stretched on, minute after minute. Every ship that received those transmissions understood something catastrophic had happened aboard SS Ourang Medan. The closest vessel in the area was an American merchant ship called Silver Star. Its captain made the call, change course immediately. He redirected the ship toward the last known coordinates of Ourang Medan. His first assumption, the ship was sinking, flooding, or had been attacked. After several hours of sailing, Silver Star arrived at the location. Through binoculars, a ship came into view. As they drew closer, the crew fell silent in confusion. SS Ourang Medan was completely intact. No visible damage anywhere on the hull, no signs of flooding, no distress flares, no debris in the water. It was just floating there, perfectly still, perfectly silent. The only odd detail: despite being a steam-powered vessel, not a single wisp of smoke rose from its chimney. The engines had stopped. And the deck? Completely empty. No crew, no movement, nothing. Such a massive vessel, floating in absolute silence. The Silver Star captain made repeated calls over the loudspeaker. He sounded the horn multiple times. The only response was the sound of ocean waves. The decision was made: send a boarding party. A rescue team crossed over and boarded SS Ourang Medan. The moment they stepped inside, the atmosphere hit them, cold, heavy, and completely silent. An unnatural stillness hung over everything. Then they found the first body. This was no ordinary death. The man's face was locked in an expression of pure terror, eyes stretched wide open, mouth agape, as if frozen at the exact moment he witnessed something unthinkable. His body was completely rigid, arms outstretched in front of him, as if he had been desperately trying to hold something back. The team pressed forward. More bodies appeared. Then more. Bodies were scattered across every part of the deck. The captain was found dead at his command post, exactly where a captain would stand during a crisis. Officers were dead on the bridge. Crew members were dead at their stations. Even the ship's dog had not been spared. Found dead. Stiff. Mouth open. Frozen mid-growl in an aggressive defensive stance, as if it had seen something and tried to fight it. The most deeply unsettling detail of all, not a single body showed any sign of physical injury. No wounds, no cuts, No bruising, no broken bones, no signs of any physical struggle anywhere. Every single person killed by something invisible, and every single face wearing that same mask of absolute terror. When the rescue team reached the radio room, they found the operator who had sent all those transmissions, still seated at his station, fingers still resting on the Morse code key, frozen in the exact position from when he tapped out his final words. I die. Silver Star's rescue team now had one confirmed truth. Something profoundly abnormal had taken place on this ship. No wounds, no struggle, no explanation, just mass death and terror written on every face. The team made a decision: secure the ship with ropes and tow it to the nearest port for a full investigation. They had barely begun tying off the lines when smoke started seeping up from below, from cargo hold number 4, deep in the ship's lower section. At first, it was thin and light. Then, within seconds, fire erupted. It moved with terrifying speed, tearing through the ship faster than anyone could process. The rescue team had one option: run. They cut loose, jumped back into their boats, and raced back towards Silver Star. The moment the last man was back on board, a massive explosion detonated inside SS Ourang Medan. The blast hurled wreckage across a wide stretch of ocean. The shockwave hit Silver Star from a distance. And then, within moments, the ship was gone. It slipped beneath the surface, taking every secret, every body, and every clue. Down into the deep with it, nothing remained. Only the testimony of Silver Star's crew, the men who had been there, seen it, and barely escaped. With zero physical evidence left behind, the story was easy to dismiss. Many did exactly that, calling it fiction, a sailor's myth, a fabrication, but others weren't so quick to move on. Conspiracy theories began to emerge. Researchers started digging, and they hit a wall immediately. No ship named SS Ourang Medan appeared in any official maritime registry. Lloyd's shipping register, the most comprehensive record of global shipping, had absolutely no record of this vessel. No registration, no documentation, no paper trail. For skeptics, this was proof enough. The ship never existed. But researchers who believed in the incident offered a counter-argument. This was the immediate post-World War II era. The world was in chaos. Many vessels during this period operated under fake names, flew false flags, or were deliberately kept off official registries. Black market shipping was rampant. Unregistered vessels were far from rare. SS Ourang Medan may have been one of them, running illegal operations under the radar, quite literally. Several years later, in 1954, Dutch newspapers published a detailed account of the incident. The articles included interviews with individuals who claimed to have previously worked aboard Ourang Medan. Among them, certain crew members stated clearly the ship was used for smuggling contraband and illegal goods. That, they said, is exactly why it was never officially registered. When investigators attempted to trace the ship's owner, using these testimonies as a starting point, they found nothing. No ownership records, no financial trails, no identity. The trail went completely cold. Then came 2003. The American Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, released a batch of previously classified documents to the public. Buried within those files was one directly connected to SS Ourang Medan. It was a letter, written to the CIA on May 29, 1958. The letter contained a full account of the incident, and at the end, the writer made a striking claim. I am confident that if the tragedy of SS Ourang Medan is ever solved, the disappearances of numerous aircraft and ships in this region will finally be explained. Whether the CIA ever acted on that letter remains unknown. What is known is this: the letter was kept classified and hidden from public view for 45 years. It was finally declassified and released in 2003, and it remains accessible on the CIA's official website to this day. Now, what actually happened aboard that ship? The most widely accepted and logically supported theory centers on a deadly chemical cargo. Context matters here. World War II had only recently ended. Both Japan and Germany had developed and stockpiled enormous quantities of lethal chemical agents during the war. The theory holds that SS Ourang Medan was secretly transporting some of these chemicals, substances like potassium cyanide or nitroglycerin. According to chemical experts, if seawater comes into contact with potassium cyanide, the reaction produces an extremely toxic gas. Inhaled into human lungs, this gas triggers a violent chemical reaction, causing near instant death by suffocation. The body would show no external wounds whatsoever. This single fact explains what the rescue team found: an entire crew dead, with not a mark on any of them. As for nitroglycerin, it is one of the most unstable explosive compounds known. When improperly stored, especially in humid, shifting maritime conditions, it can spontaneously detonate without any external trigger. The explosion that destroyed the ship and sent it to the bottom? Almost certainly the result of an unstable nitroglycerin cargo, finally reaching its breaking point. A second, darker theory points toward Unit 731. Unit 731 was a covert biological and chemical warfare division of the Imperial Japanese Army, responsible for some of the most horrific human experimentation ever recorded in modern history. When Japan surrendered and the war ended, American intelligence moved quickly to secure Japanese scientific assets. Some researchers believe SS Ourang Medan was on a secret mission, transporting biological weapons, experimental agents, or other materials connected to Unit 731's program. Somewhere in the Strait of Malacca, a containment failure occurred, a leak, an exposure, a silent, invisible killer released into the air. The entire crew was dead before anyone could send a proper distress call. The radio operator managed to tap out those final transmissions, even as he was dying, his last act before his fingers went still on the key. Because it was a classified operation, the ship carried no registration, no documentation, no identity. When the CIA received that letter in 1958 describing exactly this scenario, and then locked it away in classified files for 45 years, many people drew their own conclusions. The release of those files in 2003 gave this theory significant new momentum. There is one more detail worth noting, one that resists easy explanation. Silver Star's crew members described the atmosphere aboard Ourang Medan as feeling oppressively heavy, not just physically cold, but psychologically overwhelming, a feeling that something was deeply, fundamentally wrong. The ship's dog, found dead, frozen in an aggressive stance, its body locked mid-snarl, directed at something no human